Hello, and welcome to the second public open house for the Dundas Thames Valley Parkway Connection Project. This is an online public open house available starting Wednesday, May 13th, 2020. Thank you for participating and providing your feedback. The primary design objectives for this project include providing a continuous cycling connection between the Thames Valley Parkway and London's downtown, improving access to existing transit routes as well as future rapid transit stops, creating an all ages and abilities cycling facility to help draw recreational cyclists into the downtown, and improving pedestrian facilities and providing space for public amenities, including public art, as well as integrating the space east of Kensington Bridge with the Dundas Place Flex Street. The segment of Dundas Street from Kensington Bridge to Rideout was studied as part of the 2016 Dundas Place Environmental Study Report. At that time, future rapid transit was envisioned to use Kensington Bridge and this segment of Dundas Street. However, since that time, plans for rapid transit have evolved. This project is intended to draw on key elements from the environmental assessment, including extending the look of the Dundas Place Flex Street, incorporating public art and a plaza space, and improving connectivity to and from the TVP. Photos of Dundas Place Flex Street provide examples of the materials, finishes, and street furniture that are being integrated into this project. The scope for this project originally included Dundas Street from the east end of Kensington Bridge to Rideout Street. Since PIC number 1 and based on public and stakeholder input, the project scope has been expanded to include Kensington Bridge and the extension of cycling facilities westward to Wilson and Riverside, where a new crossing will be implemented. At the eastern limit of the study area, Rideout Street, this project includes connections to the east-west bikeway, which passes through Dundas Place and connects to the new Dundas Street cycle track, currently under design, as well as several intersecting cycling facilities as shown in this map. The project is currently in the detailed design phase, with design anticipated to be complete by June 2020. Construction is currently being targeted for completion later this year. Key features of the project study area include an existing eastbound bike lane on Riverside Drive, Kensington Bridge to the south, an existing westbound bike lane on Queens Avenue to the north, the Thames Valley Parkway running north and south on both sides of the Thames, Museum London, a heritage stone wall on the south side of Dundas, and Dundas Place Flex Street to the east of the project limits. During PIC number 1, we had great feedback from participants. Many participants wished to see connections west of the bridge to provide greater continuity. Many participants expressed a preference for one-way cycling facilities, but others noted concerns with removing a sidewalk or travel lane to accommodate one-way cycling facilities over Kensington Bridge. The desire for speed reductions through this stretch of Dundas was also noted. Some examples of statements from the comment forms are shown here. Much of this feedback has been incorporated into the ongoing design, including extending the project scope further west to Wilson and Riverside, and the provision of one-way cycle tracks east of the bridge. 5 concepts presented at PIC number 1 were reviewed against key criteria, including impacts to people walking, cycling, and driving, impacts to the public realm, public and stakeholder support, and maintenance and constructability. Concept 1, two-way cycle track on the south side, had low public support and was removed from further consideration. Concept 2A, a one-way cycle track with vehicular lane removal, had the highest support, but further traffic analysis indicates a significant impact on traffic operations for this alternative. Concept 2B, one-way cycle track with sidewalk conversion, had moderate support, but railing conversions to the Heritage Bridge were deemed infeasible within project timelines. Concept 3, Flex Street, had lower public support. And Concept 4, a one-way, two-way combination cycle track, had the second highest support and was selected as the preferred alternative based on the evaluation matrix. The west section of the design includes the following features: a new intersection pedestrian signal at Wilson and Riverside to help improve the ease of crossing the street for cyclists and pedestrians, described in more detail in the coming slide, and a new two-way cycle track and sidewalk along the south side of Riverside connecting to Kensington Bridge. The overall circulation through this section of the corridor varies depending on the direction of travel. For a cyclist coming from the west and heading towards downtown via the existing bike lane on Dundas, they would transition up into the boulevard at the curb ramp here, yield to waiting pedestrians, and continue east via the new cycle track. For a cyclist leaving downtown across Kensington Bridge, they would transition up into the boulevard at the curb cut here and continue west via the new cycle track. At the signal, a cyclist can use a push button to call a signalized crossing of Riverside, circulate through the boulevard, yielding to any pedestrians, cross Wilson, and continue west by the existing bike lanes on Queens. For a cyclist coming from the nearside TVP, they would access the new two-way cycle track to continue east or west. A new intersection pedestrian signal will be introduced at Riverside Drive and Wilson Street. The signalized crossing will improve the ease of crossing Riverside Drive for pedestrians and cyclists, incorporating elements of a protected intersection. Cyclists and pedestrians will be able to use a push button to activate the signal. The intersection design will include cross-ride pavement markings, as shown, which allow cyclists to legally ride through the intersection. Across Kensington Bridge, the proposed design includes a new two-way protected bike lane along the south side with vertical separators. Narrower lane widths compared to existing conditions will help to slow traffic. Through the east section of the corridor, the proposed design includes the following features from west to east, or left to right in this image. A new pedestrian crossover on the east side of Kensington Bridge to help pedestrians and cyclists cross north-south. A new plaza on the north side of Dundas, which we'll explain in more detail later in the presentation, created by realigning Thames Street. New multi-use path connections from the TVP up to Dundas Street on the north and south sides. New mid-height one-way cycle tracks and sidewalks east of Kensington Bridge. As shown in the cross-section, mid-height cycle tracks are elevated from general traffic lanes but are lower than the sidewalks, providing a detectable edge between pedestrians and cyclists. And finally, improvements to the signalized intersection of Dundas and Rideout to enhance safety for crossing pedestrians and cyclists by restricting eastbound right-turning vehicles while pedestrians and cyclists cross the street. A new urban plaza will be developed at the northeast corner of Thames Street and Dundas Street as part of this project. The plaza will integrate materials and finishes from the Dundas Place Flex Street, which was recently completed, and create a more cycling and pedestrian-friendly linkage for the Thames Valley Parkway, Ivy Park, Museum London, and Harris Park. The plaza design is still under development, but will include features like shade structures, trees, terraced walls, seating areas, and unique paving patterns that will link the plaza with the surrounding area and downtown London. A new formal crossing for pedestrians and cyclists, a pedestrian crossover, will be installed at the eastern limit of Kensington Bridge. The new crossing will help to improve access between Ivy Park and the plaza, as well as help improve circulation to and from the two-way cycle track over Kensington Bridge. Please provide your input via the online comment form. Do you have any outstanding questions about pedestrian or cyclist circulation through the study area? Are there elements of the design you feel could be refined? After this Public Information Center, we will review comments and suggestions from the public, stakeholders, and cycling community and incorporate them wherever feasible. Finalize detailed design plans in order to go to construction in 2020, likely beginning in the summer. If you would like to stay connected with project progress, please provide your email address on the online comment form. Thank you very much for your participation and input.